from Ontario, California.
Test telephone switch to arm light on.
Switching command to internal.
T-minus 27 seconds and counting.
Tank pressurized.
Site of the 1976 NHRA World Finals.
Range ready?
Ready.
Water system ready?
Affirmative.
I have a prep complete light.
The National Hot Rod Association presents
No. 10, 9, 8. Ignition. Waterful flow. Main stage. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Championship Drag Racing. Brought to you by English Leather Toiletries for Men. Look for English leather at fine toiletry counters everywhere. By Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Budweiser. When you say Bud, you've said it all. And by Fram, makers of oil, air, and gas filters, Fram windshield wipers, and Autolite spark plugs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland with Frank Farino at Ontario Motor Speedway for the 1976 NHRA World Finals. This is actually two events in one. The World Finals conducted here today, plus the conclusion of the 1976 World Championship Series, a 43-race series throughout the United States and Canada. I guess, Frank, you've been in the pits and on the World Championship level. Pro Stock's where the excitement is.
Yeah, because it's not yet decided. Larry Lombardo was very, very close to it, but then again, so is Warren Johnson. They meet in the first round, could be decided right there.
That's not the story in Funny Car, though.
Not at all. Don Perdomo has come here with the championship. I believe he only lost one event, the U.S. Nationals. He says the pressure's not on him, but you know the snake.
I know the snake, and the snake wants that $18,000 that's up for winner of Funny Car here at the World Finals. In Top Fuel, Frank Bradley has a mathematical chance of catching Richard Tharp, the points leader, but the story really centers around Shirley Muldowney of Mount Clemens, Michigan, who is the low qualifier, and in qualifying Saturday, recorded the second fastest speed ever in the history of drag racing. Shirley, winner of the 1976 Spring Nationals event, out to prove that she is definitely a winner, and here 5.77 seconds, her speed 249.30 miles an hour.
But that's not good enough for Shirley. She says she's going to break the 250-mile-an-hour barrier, and she feels she can do it.
Well, this is the place to do it. This is the world's fastest drag strip, Ontario Motor Speedway, and the best cars in the country throughout the world are here for this World Finals. We'll see some great action in all the categories. We'll start things off today with Top Fuel Eliminator. The first pair of cars we see, Tom Kaiser and John Rodak.
Boy, there they are. You know, no matter how many of these events we cover, I still get excited first time I see those and hear those cars.
I tell you one thing, Frank, this is one of the greatest races of all time with the best cars in the country. John Rodak, here's Tom Kaiser out of Lakewood, Colorado.
You call him, I'm going down to the pits.
We'll see you soon. First race, Top Fuel Eliminator, first round. John Rodak from Seal Beach, California is on the near side. Tom Kaiser out of Lakewood, Colorado. A great race at the finish line by about a half a car length. John Rodak, 6.19 seconds. The losing time, 6.24. Very close racing, the first race of Top Fuel Eliminator. Here in the Lidke and Zeller car is Stan Shiroma, also from Seal Beach, California. His competitor hails from Arcadia, California, and is Ray Stutz in the Hibbert and McCarthy car. Both these cars and the John Rodak car using the new Rodak engine, an aluminum replica of a Chevrolet engine used exclusively for drag racing. Stan Shiroma with a big lead, and he carries it all the way through. 6.35 seconds, smoking out a piston or two there at the finish line. 231 miles an hour. There'll be some work in the pits for the Lidke and Zeller crew with Stan Shiroma driving. Here in slow motion, you see him building a big lead right off the starting line over Ray Stutz, and Shiroma holds on for an easy win at the finish. 6.35 seconds to a 6.43. NHRA starter Buster Couch watching the next pair coming up to the starting line, and this is one of the very important races in Top Fuel Eliminator, as this man, Frank Bradley, has a chance to win Top Fuel Eliminator World Championship title, a mathematical possibility. He's got to win all the races, the entire event, plus set records both ET and mile an hour. His competitor is Pat Dakin, driving this race for Mike Cool. Cool from Torrance, California, Dakin himself hailing from Dayton, Ohio. Both cars staged. Taking a look at the drivers as they concentrate on the start. Side by side, it's Dakin through the finish line first by a half a car length, putting Frank Bradley out of competition. And that means it is Richard Tharp, the driver for the Candies and Hughes Top Fuel dragster, your Top Fuel world champion for 1976. Dakin holding on wire to wire for the victory, and you see him there by about a half a car length over Frank Bradley. Here's Bob Struckness out of Minot, North Dakota. His competition, Jerry Ruth from Seattle, Washington. Top Fuel dragsters a pair, both powered by Keith Black aluminum racing engines. Staging very carefully in the electronic starting system, both drivers concentrating on the start. And leaving side by side, Jerry Ruth pulls out about a 1 car length victory. His elapsed time, 6.05 seconds. A fine run for Jerry Ruth from Seattle, Washington. We'll take a look at this one again in slow motion. You can see them leave the starting line together. And it's Jerry Ruth pulling it out at 230 miles an hour over Bob Struckness. This is the final event of the 1976 championship season, and what more fitting place to draw the year to a close than Ontario Motor Speedway. If you've never been to the Big O, it is truly something to see. Before qualifying started and before the crowds came in, Frank had a chance to take a little tour.
OMS, the Ontario Motor Speedway, first opened for business back in 1970. It sits about an hour's drive east of Los Angeles, California, about halfway toward the desert community of Palm Springs. This track was built to accommodate Indy-type cars on its oval and Formula One cars on its road course. For this NHRA World Finals, the start line for the dragsters sits back there over my shoulder, back toward that timing tower. That is the timing tower for the NHRA event. The starting line is just forward of that tower. They come down this quarter-mile track here, and right in front of the grandstands here is actually the finish line for the dragsters. It's the start-finish line for the Indy-type cars on the oval. The drag racers say that this is the fastest track anywhere. But for all the appeal this track has to the racers, this is really a spectator's dream come true. I'll be back a bit later to show you how plush it is and how unique it is. But right now, back to Dave and more action.
Frank, not only is this a spectator's track, but it's also a spectator's race, this World Finals. Here's John Wiebe from Newton, Kansas. His competition, Hank Johnson from Marysville, Washington. Coming from all over the country and Canada for this World Finals event. John Wiebe is on the near lane, Hank Johnson in the far lane. And it looks like Hank Johnson pulling a bit of a lead, and a big lead it is, as the finish line camera records Hank Johnson 6.02 seconds, 236 miles an hour, his speed at the finish line. In slow motion, you see Hank Johnson pulling away from the very start from John Wiebe. Obviously, Wiebe having some problems. His elapsed time only 6.22 seconds, 0.2 of a second slower than Hank Johnson. And here, the man that has won the $25,000 season-end bonus money as the 1976 world champion in Top Fuel Eliminator, Candies and Hughes dragster, Richard Tharp, the driver from Dallas, Texas. His competition, James Warren from Bakersfield, California, the Ridge Route Terrace. You know, no matter how much pressure there is, James Warren always seems to remain very calm. Told Frank the one reason for this, his crew chief, Roger Coburn.
You know, he don't want to make no bonsai run. If it's not safe, he don't run. So I don't have much to worry about. All I can do is worry about leaving the line, and he takes care of the rest of it.
And leave the line he did. James Warren building a lead over Richard Tharp. And the supercharger exploding off of Richard Tharp's car. You see it bouncing down the track behind James Warren's dragster. The supercharger rolling into view now, coming to a rest. And Richard Tharp coasting off the track. James Warren taking the win. Let's watch and see if we can see where it comes off. It looks like just before the finish line. Warren with a big lead. And into the traps, and there goes the supercharger right at the finish line. Richard Tharp losing this race, but winning the world championship. Here's Terry Kapp. He's from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and there is the low qualifier, Shirley Muldowney from Mount Clemens, Michigan. 5.77 seconds in qualifying, the second fastest speed ever recorded in drag racing at 249.30 miles an hour. Terry's got his hands full here. The number one qualifier is Shirley Muldowney, and she is one of the toughest competitors anywhere in drag racing. A perfect example of why Shirley Muldowney, recording a 5.99-second elapsed time. Her speed, 245 miles an hour for Shirley Muldowney. The final race of the first round in Top Fuel Eliminator. Gaines Markley from Federal Way, Washington, doing a burnout. Every one of these cars does burnouts just like this to heat up the tires, to get them as sticky as possible. The motor's producing nearly 2,000 horsepower, and you need to heat the tires. You can watch them grow here as they spin in the water, and then they start to burn and smoke. Again, the purpose to get them clean and to get them nice and hot. The competition for Gaines Markley comes from Concord, California, and this a brand new car for Dennis Baca. This is one of the best efforts ever for Baca. He qualified very well into the field, and here in the first round of Top Fuel at the World Finals is pitted against Gaines Markley from Federal Way, Washington. Here's Dennis Baca, Gaines Markley in the near lane, and it's a red light start for Gaines Markley, giving the win automatically to Dennis Baca, but he doesn't shut it off early, 5.99 seconds. His speed, 213.77 miles an hour. Dennis Baca advancing into round number 2. Earlier, Frank was down on the starting line and talked with the president of the National Hot Rod Association, Wally Parks.
Started out in February, not too far from here in Pomona, California, with the Winter Nationals. We're here in Ontario, California, to culminate a fantastic championship drag racing season with the National Hot Rod Association with the World Finals. Let's talk to Wally Parks, president of the NHRA, and find out how he assesses the season. Wally, you've got to be super happy about this year.
Well, Frank, I have to say that this has been the most successful season that we've ever had in our drag racing history. If for no other reason than it's the first time that we've ever had 100% success in having good weather at every one of our major national meets. In addition to that, the fact that we have every single one of our division champions in the sportsman categories qualified to run, and here is a highlight that none of us ever dreamed of.
I guess the Ontario track has got to be a beautiful place to end this fantastic season.
It is. It's a hardship on the eastern racers who have to travel a long way to get here, but I think it's compensated for, particularly by the ones that are qualified and eligible to run, because it is an excellent surface, probably the best in the country, and because of the magnitude of the facility.
Wally, let's hope 77 is even better than 76.
I don't know how it can be, but I'm hoping for it.
Wally Parks, president of the NHRA, and we'll be back with more right after this.
The 1976 Pro Stock World Championship boiled down to one race in the first round of racing here at Ontario Motor Speedway in the World Finals. It pitted Larry Lombardo and Bill Jenkins' car against Warren Johnson. They had raced the whole year long, separated by just a few hundred points as they came into this race, but a driving job by Larry Lombardo in round number 1 won the race for him over Warren Johnson. We see here it was only a matter of inches at the finish line as Larry Lombardo defeated Warren Johnson, winning the Pro Stock World Championship. Frank's down in the pits with Larry right now.
Well, Larry, you've locked it in, but the meet's not over, and now, kind of anticlimactic, you've got to go out and still run.
Yeah, I got 3 more rounds to go. We're not looking real good as far as power, but we're working on it right now. I found out a few things on that run, which I think are a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. It might be enough to win the race, but I came to win the World Championship, and I won that, and that's the biggest thrill of my life.
Well, win, lose, or draw, Larry Lombardo, 1976 Pro Stock champion. And we'll see what happens as the meet continues. Dave?
Frank will pick up action in round number 2 of Pro Stock Eliminator. Here's Dave Canners from Auburn Heights, Michigan, in an American Motors Hornet. His competition, Richie Zool in the Chevy Monza, driving the Rare and Morrison car out of Dallas, Texas. Zool himself from Lindenhurst, Long Island, New York. And a close race it is. Dave Canners by a half a car length, 8.80 seconds at 154 miles an hour. Pro Stockers are the true factory hot rods, utilizing gasoline and carbureted engines. Here's the defending world champion, Bob Glidden. His competition, Ken Dondero at the wheel of the Gap and Roush Ford Pinto. Glidden pulling away from Ken Dondero. And by a car length and a half, it is the defending champion Bob Glidden with a win in round number 2 of Pro Stock Eliminator. Looking at that one again in slow motion, we see he had a big lead going into the traps. Glidden winning at 8.84 seconds, 153 miles an hour for Bob Glidden. Paul Blevins is in the near lane in the Chevrolet. His competition, the national champion, Wally Booth from Berkeley, Michigan, in the American Motors Hornet. Paul Blevins and Wally Booth very close, and it's Booth by a matter of inches as he defeats Paul Blevins in round number 2. His elapsed time was 8.83 seconds to a losing 8.88 for Paul Blevins, and there you see about a wheel width at the finish line.